Yo, what's up? This is Poetry Uncut. Once again, we back at it. We getting it in. Like I said, it's Poetry Uncut. Please, if there's any sound, background noise, just letting you know. It's Poetry Uncut. It's the rawness. It's the real. Right here on the ones and twos. So basically, we back once again. This poem is The Young Birds, right? So this is once again, this poem is In the Wilderness. The Wilderness. This is my new book. You can check it out on Yahuchasad.com. Yeah, that's a plug. So basically, Young Birds, man. So want to just give praise to Yahuwah, man. As you go along this journey, you begin to learn more about Yahuwah, and you get to learn more about yourself and how He created you, right? And so there's certain things to where you go through a certain experiences in order to be a help for other people. You know, I'm a big believer in that a lot of situations we go through is to be, gems in healing, leaves, because we bear fruit, right? So leaves and fruit for other people, right? So the thing is that what I've learned is that going through these things, I meet people, individuals that Yahuwah puts on my path, and it's like, I'm trying to explain it. It's almost like stewardship, right? So, because I've really been like, He's really been dealing with me about Adam. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Adam. And a lot of people, which has been a fascinating study, is going back to look at Adam, but not just the fall of Adam, but what was going on before, because there's a lot of meat happening in those first 3 chapters, right? And so when you go back and start to look at Adam, you understand that really he was a manager, right? Like, he was, everything was provided for him. He had the seeds, he had everything. All he had to do was basically cultivate the land and just obey and kick it with Yahuwah right there. He coming through, you know what I'm saying? The cool of the day, you know what I'm saying? The word was walking through that joint, right? So, like, that's just amazing in itself. And so he was a manager, and so when we are managers of the things that Yahuwah has given, it's like the parable. It's like the parable of the talents, the one with 1, the one with 5, you know what I'm saying? The one, so with that being said, and I know I kind of like danced around to get to this point, is that I meet a lot of people that have gone through or are going through the same thing that I went through, right? This is really the big, really things about this book is it's a lot of things that I went through that Yahuwah was like, okay, I want you to share this with people. And so one of the things that a constant theme, I would say, like, if I like put them all on the board and named one of them that is the highest thing that a quality in people that I meet is the characteristic, or I would even say the characteristics, I would say the spirit of fear, right? Man, it is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know that until Yahuwah delivered me that I had so much fear, right? But a lot of people going through fear, and this is what the Young Birds gets into, right? Young Bird is, it's not even really a long poem, but the idea behind this poem is that I'm just gonna give you a story, and I tell this story all the time, but I don't think I told it to the internet yet. So basically, it's funny because you ever told them stories where it's like the same story, but then they got like a different version to it, like, and it's like whatever, kind of however, Yahuwah moves to relay it to somebody at that time. I don't know. That's maybe it's just a storyteller thing. So basically, this guy is in heaven, and he's I think like a messenger is like, walking him around, and he's like showing him everything. It's like, oh yeah, that's cool. It's like showing him this and that, showing him that. And then the dude was like, yo, what's in that room right there? And the dude was like silent, like he ain't say nothing. He said, man, what's in that room? I want to see what's in that room. So he was like, all right, all right. So he opened up the room, and he goes in there, and he's just looking around. And what it is these little jars. It's these jars like with people's names on it. And inside the jars is like these like you ever seen like these little orbs of like holographic things that are happening, like images and moving stuff? It's like that inside of there, and it's like it's like great things, like these great purposes and stuff, like. And so the guy is like looking, he's amazed. He's like, wow, man, look at this, man. And so he looks at the messenger, and he's crying. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, why you crying? You know what I'm saying? He said, man, they didn't believe me. You see what I'm saying? He was like, they didn't believe me. And he's like, what? And so what it is that inside those those jars were people's purposes, right? And so what I've learned is that, man, if you're gonna do something, let's scratch that, erase that back. If you scratch that, scratch that. If Yahuwah is going to do something with you and through you, right? That it will be beyond your capacity to understand it. I'm starting to see this. It will be beyond your capacity to understand it. If you can completely understand it, you are in the wrong arena. Yahuwah wants to esteem his name, right? He wants his name to be published throughout the earth, throughout the universe, that he reigns, right? That he is great. And in that, he takes away the esteem. I'm talking about people who are really connected. He takes away that ability to grasp the esteem. That means that he's going to separate. He's going to separate what man can do versus what he can do. That's why you look in the stories and you see Gideon. No, I got too many people. I got too many people, man. Like, nah, it just can't go down like that. And so you start to see that that's not just in the scriptures. That's part of his character, right? So you have to know that. You have to know that what he wants you to do is going to be, that's in your DNA. It's going to be far beyond your capacity to understand it. And so back to the story of the young birds is when I meet people and they're going through this, because what has happened is that they have come at a crossroads. They have come at a crossroads of their perception. One of the lies that the devil would always tell me is that, when you don't have a perception of something of goodness, you tell yourself that, could it happen to me? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I know Yahuwah's great, but can that happen to me? Right? So if you ever said something like that, it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? It's from the devil. Because you read the word, Yahuwah's not a respected person, right? And he will do it for you if you trust him, right? If you love him with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. So the thing is that the fear is not something that you can just wake up tomorrow and it's going to be gone, right? You have to take upon the power that is in Yahushua HaMashiach and get that thing and cast that thing out your life, right? And so that's the main thing which separates people from getting the goodness of Yahuwah, is because they don't really believe, and it is fear, right? And fear will rob you of everything. It will rob you of your blessing. It will rob you of your future. It will rob you of who you are supposed to be in the Most High. So that's just that. So young birds. Trapped by the walls as tall as in. Let me try that again. Right. Trapped by the walls as tall as intergalactic skyscrapers. We labeled to get free. Paying tolls on the highway that loops. It's on repeat. Mine interstates. Color blues and reds. Democratic Republic. Beds we lay in. Blanketed by sheets just covering our temporary frost. Lost in our mind. Have you ever heard that sound? So profound are thoughts fought in a 12-round bout. You didn't even know existed. You didn't even see the cage. I'm seeking freedom. May you get free, young bird. So this is to all the young birds out there, man, that, you desiring to fly. You can see the air. You can see how big the space is. Like, I can imagine being a young bird and you look out in the nest and you're like, man, this sky is big. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we look at, sometimes that's how we look at Yahuwah. Like, man, Yahuwah is vast and big. Can I fly within inside his grace, right? Or Hasad, mercy. And yes, you can. Through Yahushua HaMashiach, you can fly. And so that's what we're talking about. When I get to this space, sometimes where I just get a little bit stagnant, it's almost like I hear the Ruach say, like, you gotta like, I'm trying to get the right words. Like, as I had somebody say before, you got to jump out the window. You know what I'm saying? You got to jump out the window. You got to jump out the nest. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to do sometimes, because we can never let the spirit of fear stagnate us. I know some people who they have some gifts that Yahuwah has given them, man. And if they just let go, I'm telling you, man, Yahuwah's going to use them far beyond their imagination. But the thing is that they abound. You know what I'm saying? And Yahushua said he came to set the captives free, right? And so I'm evidence that Yahuwah can set you free, and that he will set you free, and that there's and I'm just excited to share more of this freedom with you as he wills, as he keeps giving me the strength. So shalom to you, and may Yah bless you.